You ghetto trash don't belong in civilized restaurants. Marcus Rivera blocks Maya Thompson from entering the dining room, his arm stretched across the doorway like a bouncer. Maya holds her reservation confirmation. Simple black dress, pearl necklace, understated elegance. Sir, I have a 7:30 reservation. Fake reservation. You people always try this scam. Marcus rips the paper from her hands and tears it in half. I'm calling the police for attempted fraud. The hostess nods eagerly. Should I dial 911 now? Do it. Trespassing and fraudulent documentation. Marcus's voice carries across the packed restaurant. We press full charges. Maya stands perfectly still as every diner turns to stare. A teenager at table 4 starts recording. Marcus pulls out his phone. Yes, police. We need someone arrested for restaurant fraud at Prime Reserve. Have you ever been judged so completely wrong that the person's assumption destroyed their entire career? 7:32 p.m., 18 minutes until business partners arrive. The police dispatcher's voice crackles through Marcus's phone speaker, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. What's the nature of the complaint? Attempted dining fraud. Subject refuses to leave after presenting fake documentation. Marcus paces behind the hostess stand, performing for his audience. She's becoming aggressive and disturbing our guests. Maya hasn't moved. Her hands remain folded, reservation fragments scattered at her feet like confetti. Jessica, the 20-something hostess, whispers to approaching customers, "Sorry for the drama. We're handling a situation with someone who tried to scam us." The couple, white, well-dressed, clearly regulars, nod knowingly. The woman glances at Maya with undisguised disgust. How long until officers arrive? Marcus asked the dispatcher. 15 to 20 minutes, sir. Perfect timing. Marcus ends the call and announces to the dining room, police are en route. This individual will be removed shortly. Scattered applause from table 12. An elderly man raises his wine glass in approval. Maya checks her phone discreetly. 7:34 p.m. Her screen shows 17 missed notifications from Thompson Acquisition Team. The most recent text reads, ETA 7:50 p.m., conference room reserved. $2.3 million documents ready for signature. She scrolls to another message from Corporate Legal. Board emergency session moved to 8 p.m. Your presence is required for the Pinnacle expansion vote. Maya's fingers hover over the keypad. One call could end this instantly. Instead, she powers off the screen and slips the phone into her small black clutch, the same clutch containing a black Amex Centurion card and boarding pass marked First Class, ATL to LAX. Near the window, Sarah Carter discreetly starts her Facebook live stream. Her phone screen shows live. Discrimination happening right now at Prime Reserve Atlanta. Y'all, I'm literally watching this restaurant manager call the police on a black woman for existing. Sarah whispers into her phone. She's been nothing but polite, and he's treating her like a criminal. The viewer count climbs. 47, 156, 334 people watching. Comments flood in. What restaurant is this? This is disgusting. Good for the manager. Finally, someone with standards. Where in Atlanta? I'm calling the news. Sarah angles her camera to capture Maya's composed demeanor versus Marcus's theatrical hostility. Marcus notices Sarah's phone pointed in his direction. He strides over to her table, all smiles and professional charm. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to stop recording. This is a private establishment and we have policies about filming other guests. I'm filming you, not her. Sarah replies steadily. Company policy prohibits unauthorized recording. I'll have to ask you to delete that footage. Sarah's boyfriend, Kevin, shifts uncomfortably. Maybe we should just... No. Sarah keeps recording. This is a public space and I'm documenting what appears to be racial profiling. Marcus's smile vanishes. Sir, I suggest you control your girlfriend before this becomes a problem for both of you. The threat hangs heavy. Kevin tugs Sarah's arm. Come on, let's just pay and leave. But Sarah's live stream has hit 1,200 viewers. She's not stopping now. In the kitchen, line cook Jerome Washington watches through the service window. He's one of only 3 black employees in the entire restaurant. All kitchen staff, none front of house. This is messed up, he mutters to sous chef Maria Santos. Maria shrugs. Marcus runs a tight ship. He knows who belongs here and who doesn't. She's not doing anything wrong. You want to keep your job, Jerome? Stay out of front of house business. Jerome's hands clench around his knife handle, but he stays silent. He has 2 kids and rent due Monday. At table 6, Margaret Willis stage whispers to her husband, "I've seen this before. They scout expensive restaurants, make fake reservations, then cause scenes when they're rightfully refused service." Her husband, Tom, nods gravely. "Insurance scam, probably. Sue the restaurant for discrimination." Neither has heard Maya speak beyond asking about her reservation. Neither knows anything about her background, employment, or intentions, but they've constructed an entire narrative based solely on her appearance and Marcus's accusations. At table 15, a young black couple keeps their heads down, focusing intently on their appetizers. The woman touches her partner's hand under the table, a silent signal to stay invisible, stay safe. Maya shifts slightly, and her blazer falls open. For just a moment, a small gold pin becomes visible on her lapel, the Pinnacle Hospitality Group logo, worn only by board members and C-suite executives. No one notices except the busboy clearing table 9. He pauses, squinting. He's worked restaurants for 15 years and recognizes that pin. But Maya adjusts her jacket, and the moment passes. She opens her small leather portfolio to review documents while waiting. The papers inside are partially visible. Acquisition agreement and Pinnacle Hospitality Group letterhead, figures in the millions. A server passing with water refills catches a glimpse but assumes they're fake. Props to support whatever scam Maya's running. Marcus returns to the hostess station, energized by his performance. He pulls out a laminated card and reads aloud for nearby diners to hear. Georgia state law clearly permits business owners to refuse service to individuals who present fraudulent documentation or engage in suspicious behavior threatening the safety and comfort of legitimate patrons. He's practiced this speech. I used it before. Jessica nods eagerly. Should I start a written incident report? Absolutely. Document everything. Her appearance, demeanor, and fake reservation. When this goes to court, we'll have bulletproof documentation of attempted fraud. Maya's phone buzzes again. Text from board member Harrison. Maya, where are you? We need your vote on the Morrison chain acquisition. The shareholder meeting starts in 30 minutes. She glances at the message, then at Marcus, who's now explaining to curious diners how restaurant fraud has become an epidemic in upscale establishments. 7:41 p.m. 9 minutes until her business partners arrive. 19 minutes until the board meeting that will determine whether Pinnacle Hospitality Group acquires 3 new restaurant chains. Maya closes her portfolio and stands, smoothing her simple black dress. Every eye in the restaurant tracks her movement. Marcus smirks triumphantly. Finally ready to leave before the police arrive? Maya meets his gaze directly for the first time. Her voice stays level, almost gentle. I'd like to use your restroom while I wait. Absolutely not. Restrooms are for paying customers only. The humiliation lands like a physical blow. Sarah's live stream viewer count hits 2,847. Comments explode across the screen. Maya nods once and remains standing, perfectly still, in the center of the restaurant's main dining room. Waiting. 7:43 p.m. Maya stands motionless in the restaurant's center, creating an unwitting stage. Conversations resume in hushed tones, but every glance drifts back to her. Marcus circles her like a predator, energized by the audience. Ma'am, I've asked you politely to wait outside for the police. Your continued presence is disrupting our establishment. I'm not disrupting anyone. Maya's voice carries clearly across the dining room. I'm simply standing here. Loitering is illegal. Trespassing is illegal. Marcus pulls out his phone again. I'm calling back to upgrade this to a priority response. He dials, speaking loudly enough for everyone to hear. Yes, this is Marcus Rivera at Prime Reserve again. The subject is now refusing direct orders to leave. She's becoming increasingly hostile, and I'm concerned for our staff's safety. Maya hasn't moved a muscle. Her hands remain clasped, her posture relaxed. The dispatcher's voice crackles through. Has she made any threats or aggressive movements? Marcus doesn't hesitate. She's using intimidation tactics, standing in our main walkway, glaring at customers, creating a hostile environment. We need units here immediately. Sarah's live stream explodes with comments. The viewer count hits 4,200 and climbing. OMG, he's lying. She's literally just standing there. This manager is insane. Someone get this viral. Assistant Manager Kelly Davidson emerges from the back office, drawn by the commotion. She's young, ambitious, and completely loyal to Marcus. "What's the situation?" Kelly asks, though she's clearly been briefed. "Attempted fraud, now escalated to trespassing and intimidation." Marcus hands her a clipboard. "Start documenting everything for the police report." Kelly begins writing, narrating loudly. 7:44 p.m. Subject continues aggressive posturing in the main dining area despite multiple requests to leave. Customers expressing concern for their safety. No customer has expressed any such concern, but several nod agreement anyway. The security guard, Tom Phillips, arrives from his rounds in the parking garage. He's a 50-something former cop with tired eyes and a slight limp. Marcus waves him over urgently. "Tom, we need this individual removed immediately. She's trespassing and intimidating our guests." Tom looks at Maya, then at Marcus, clearly uncomfortable. "Has she done anything actually threatening?" "She's refusing to leave private property after being asked repeatedly. That's textbook trespassing." Tom approaches Maya cautiously. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step outside while we sort this out." Maya turns to face him directly. "I have a reservation for 7:30. I arrived on time. I've committed no crime. Ma'am, the manager has the right to refuse service. If you don't leave voluntarily, the police will arrest you for trespassing." "Then I'll wait for the police to explain the law to me." Tom's radio crackles. He steps away to answer, speaking quietly. When he returns, his expression has changed. "Units are about 8 minutes out," he announces. Marcus claps his hands together. "Excellent. Ma'am, you have 8 minutes to reconsider your decision before this becomes a criminal matter." Maya checks her phone. 7:46 p.m. Her business partners arrive in 4 minutes. At table 12, the elderly gentleman who'd applauded earlier stands up. "Young lady, you're embarrassing yourself. Accept reality and leave with dignity." His wife nods vigorously. "There are plenty of other restaurants that would welcome you." Maya turns toward them. "Which restaurants would those be, sir?" The directness of her question catches him off guard. "Well, there are many fine establishments." "Please be specific. Which restaurants do you believe would welcome me?" The man's face reddens. "That's not... You're twisting my words. I'm asking for clarification. You suggested there are restaurants that would welcome me. I'd like to know which ones you had in mind." The dining room falls silent. The elderly man sits down abruptly, unable to answer without revealing his assumptions. Margaret Willis from table 6 fills the silence. "Honey, you need to understand how this looks. Walking into an upscale restaurant without proper attire, presenting questionable documentation." "What about my attire is improper?" Maya asks calmly. Margaret gestures vaguely. "Well, it's just, casual." Maya glances around the room. 3 men wear jeans. 2 women sport athleisure wear. A teenager at table 8 wears a graphic t-shirt and sneakers. "I see several other diners in casual attire. Are they also inappropriately dressed?" Margaret's mouth opens and closes soundlessly. Kelly interrupts, reading from her clipboard. 7:47 p.m. Subject now attempting to manipulate and confuse customers through aggressive questioning tactics. Maya's phone buzzes. Text message from David Carter, acquisition lead. "Pulling into valet now. Traffic was brutal. See you in 2 minutes." Another message from Patricia Williams, legal. "Contract amendments complete. Ready for your signature and board presentation." Maya powers off her phone and slips it away. Marcus notices the gesture. "Oh, now you're receiving instructions from your accomplices? This is clearly a coordinated effort." Accomplice to what crime exactly? Attempted fraud. Conspiracy to defraud a business establishment. Sarah's live stream now has 7,800 viewers. Comments stream past faster than she can read them. Someone has identified the restaurant's location and posted the phone number. The comment section fills with outraged viewers promising to call. Jerome, the line cook, watches through the kitchen window as his shift supervisor approaches Maya from behind. "Excuse me, miss," the supervisor says quietly. "I'm going to need you to move away from the main walkway. You're creating a fire hazard." Maya steps 2 feet to the left, still clearly visible to the entire room. "Thank you," the supervisor says, then retreats quickly to the kitchen. Marcus scowls. This isn't going according to plan. Maya hasn't raised her voice, made threats, or given him any ammunition for his police report. Tom's radio squawks again. Unit 47 to Prime Reserve, ETA 4 minutes. Copy that. Tom responds, then addresses the room. Police will be here shortly to resolve this situation. Maya nods acknowledgement but remains standing. Kelly continues her performance documentation. 7:49 p.m. The subject shows no remorse for disrupting business operations. Appears to be waiting for unknown associates to arrive. Unknown associates. Maya almost smiles at the accuracy. A black Tesla Model S pulls into the valet station outside. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, everyone watches as a distinguished black man in an expensive suit emerges, followed by an impeccably dressed Asian woman carrying a briefcase. Marcus glances outside, then back at Maya. Are more of your friends trying the same scam? The valet hurries to greet the new arrivals with obvious deference. The man tips generously and says something that makes the valet nod eagerly. Maya's phone vibrates once more. Text from David. We're here. Table under Thompson? She doesn't respond. I don't need to. The restaurant's front door opens. David Carter and Patricia Williams enter, their presence immediately commanding attention. David's suit probably costs more than Marcus makes in a month. Patricia's briefcase bears the distinctive logo of a high-end legal firm. They scan the dining room, spot Maya immediately, and begin walking toward her. Marcus steps forward to intercept them. Excuse me, we're dealing with a situation here. You'll need to wait at the hostess station. David looks at Marcus with mild confusion. We have a reservation. Thompson party for 3. Jessica, the hostess, scrambles to check her book. I don't see... Patricia opens her briefcase and produces a confirmation email on letterhead. Reservation confirmed yesterday. Table for 3 at 7:50 p.m. Jessica stares at the document, then at Maya, then at Marcus. Her face goes completely white. The realization hits Marcus like a freight train. His confident smirk evaporates. Maya Thompson. The reservation was real, but it's too late. Tom's radio crackles one final time. Unit 47 on scene. Blue and red lights flash through the restaurant's windows as 2 police officers enter Prime Reserve. The dining room holds its collective breath. Officer Martinez, a veteran with 20 years on the force, surveys the scene. Officer Thompson, no relation to Maya, follows close behind, hand resting casually on her radio. Marcus rushes forward, his confidence restored by official backup. Officers, thank you for responding so quickly. We have a trespassing situation with this individual. He points at Maya. She's been refusing to leave for over 15 minutes. Officer Martinez approaches Maya, who remains perfectly still in the center of the dining room. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step outside so we can discuss this situation. Maya looks at the officer, then at Marcus, then at her business partners who stand frozen near the entrance. David's jaw is tight with barely controlled anger. Patricia's legal instincts have kicked in. She's already recording on her phone. Officer, before you proceed, I need to make a phone call. Marcus interjects. She's been making calls to accomplices all evening. This is clearly a coordinated... Maya raises one hand, silencing him with a gesture so naturally authoritative that Marcus stops mid-sentence. Something shifts in the room's energy. She retrieves her phone and dials a number. The call connects immediately. This is Maya Thompson, board chair of Pinnacle Hospitality Group. Her voice carries across the restaurant with crisp clarity. I need an emergency conference call with all regional VPs, the legal department, and corporate security. We have a code red situation at one of our properties. The silence is deafening. Marcus's face drains of color like water from a bathtub. Kelly drops her clipboard. It hits the marble floor with a sharp crack. Officer Martinez's eyebrows raise. Ma'am, did you say Pinnacle Hospitality Group? Yes, officer, I'm the chairman of the board. This restaurant is one of 847 properties in our portfolio. Maya's thumb moves across her phone screen. I'm activating our crisis management protocol. She places the call on the speaker. A crisp voice fills the restaurant. Maya, this is Linda Harrison, VP of Operations. We have the board standing by. What's the situation? Maya's eyes lock onto Marcus, who looks like he's about to vomit. Linda, I'm conducting an unannounced quality assessment at Prime Reserve Atlanta. The manager, Marcus Rivera, has just had me detained by police for attempting to use our restaurant services while black. Gasps ripple through the dining room. Sarah's live stream viewer count explodes past 15,000. Linda's voice sharpens. Please repeat that, Maya. Mr. Rivera accused me of presenting fraudulent reservation documentation, called me ghetto trash, and informed police that I was attempting to defraud the establishment. He's currently trying to have me arrested for trespassing. The speaker crackles with activity. Multiple voices can be heard in the background. Get legal on the line immediately. Pull the personnel files. Someone calls media relations. Marcus finds his voice, though it comes out as a croak. Miss Thompson, I had no idea. Maya doesn't acknowledge him. She continues speaking to her corporate team. I have approximately 50 witnesses, including a live social media stream with over 15,000 viewers. Everything has been documented. Officer Martinez steps forward. Ma'am, can you provide identification confirming your position? Maya opens her small clutch and produces her corporate ID card, followed by her black Amex Centurion card. Patricia approaches and hands the officer a business card. Officer, I'm Patricia Williams, senior partner at Williams, Carter & Associates. We're Miss Thompson's legal counsel. We were scheduled to meet here tonight to finalize a $2.3 million acquisition of 3 restaurant chains. Officer Thompson examines Maya's ID carefully. This appears legitimate. Ma'am, what exactly happened here tonight? Before Maya can respond, David Carter steps forward, his voice tight with controlled fury. Officer, I've been watching this travesty unfold for the past 5 minutes. My business partner, one of the most successful restaurateurs in the Southeast, has been publicly humiliated by an employee of her own company. The corporate speaker crackles again. Maya, this is James Morrison, corporate legal. We need to discuss immediate damage control measures. The stock implications alone. Maya holds up her hand. James, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. I need to address the immediate situation first. She ends the call and turns to face the room. Every eye is locked on her. For those who may not understand the situation, let me clarify. Her voice remains calm, almost conversational. 23 minutes ago, I entered this restaurant for a business dinner. I was immediately accused of fraud, publicly humiliated, and threatened with arrest, not for any action I took, but for assumptions made about my appearance and my right to be here. Marcus stumbles forward. Miss Thompson, please, I can explain. Maya continues as if he hasn't spoken. Mr. Rivera tore up my reservation, called me ghetto trash, accused me of welfare fraud, and suggested I belonged at Walmart instead of here. Her eyes sweep the room. Several customers applauded his behavior. The elderly man from table 12 looks like he wants to disappear into his chair. This restaurant generates approximately $4.2 million in annual revenue, Maya continues. It represents 0.6% of Pinnacle's total portfolio. Mr. Rivera's actions tonight have potentially exposed our company to federal discrimination lawsuits, with damages ranging from $15 to $50 million. Officer Martinez looks at Marcus with a mixture of disbelief and professional disgust. Sir, is what she's saying accurate? Marcus can barely speak. There was a misunderstanding. Kelly finds her voice. We were just following protocol for suspicious... Suspicious? Maya's voice cuts through the air like a blade. What exactly was suspicious about a black woman requesting the table she'd reserved? Silence. Maya opens her leather portfolio and removes a document. Officer, this is tonight's acquisition contract. My signature on this document will add 3 restaurant chains to Pinnacle's portfolio, creating approximately 400 new jobs. She holds up the contract for everyone to see. The total value of this transaction is $2.3 million. Mr. Rivera nearly prevented this deal from proceeding because he assumed I couldn't afford a $30 appetizer. Patricia steps forward with her briefcase open. Officer, we also have corporate documentation showing Miss Thompson's complete authority over this property. She has the legal right to terminate Mr. Rivera's employment immediately. The weight of Maya's true power settles over the room like a heavy blanket. But Maya isn't finished. She turns to address Sarah, who's still live streaming. Ma'am, you've been recording this entire incident? Sarah nods, phone still pointed at Maya. Yes, ma'am. 15,000 people are watching right now. Maya smiles for the first time all evening. Excellent. I want the world to see what happens next. She turns back to Marcus, who's now visibly shaking. Mr. Rivera, you have two choices. Maya Thompson stands in the center of her own restaurant, surrounded by police officers, corporate lawyers, and a dining room full of witnesses. Her voice carries the weight of absolute authority. Mr. Rivera, you have two choices. Resign immediately with a standard reference letter or be terminated for cause with a federal discrimination complaint filed within 48 hours. Marcus's hands tremble as he grips the hostess station for support. Miss Thompson, please. I have a family, a mortgage. I've worked here for 3 years. You should have considered your family before calling a black woman ghetto trash in front of 50 witnesses. Maya's tone remains clinical, devoid of emotion. Your employment contract, Section 12B, specifically prohibits discriminatory conduct. You violated that contract tonight. She retrieves her phone and opens an app labeled Pinnacle Executive Portal. Her fingers move swiftly across the screen. I'm accessing your personnel file now. Maya reads from her phone. Marcus Rivera, hired September 2021, annual salary $68,000, performance reviews consistently marked satisfactory. She looks up. Until tonight. Officer Martinez shifts uncomfortably. Ma'am, while this is clearly an internal company matter, we still need to document the false police report. Maya nods. Of course. Mr. Rivera filed a fraudulent complaint claiming I presented fake documentation and threatened staff. Georgia Code Section the 16th of October 20 classifies false reporting as a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in prison. Marcus's face goes white. I thought... The reservation looks suspicious. The reservation looks suspicious? Maya's voice sharpens. Officer, I'd like you to examine the evidence Mr. Rivera claimed was fraudulent. Patricia Williams approaches with her briefcase. She produces a printout and hands it to Officer Martinez. This is the original reservation confirmation sent from our corporate booking system yesterday at 3:47 p.m. Officer Martinez examines the document. This appears completely legitimate. Company letterhead, confirmation number, official email address. It is legitimate, Maya confirms. Mr. Rivera destroyed valid documentation and filed a false police report based solely on his assumption that a black woman couldn't afford to dine here. She turns to address the room. Ladies and gentlemen, you've witnessed a textbook case of racial profiling. The legal ramifications extend far beyond Mr. Rivera's employment. Maya dials another number on her phone. This is Maya Thompson. Connect me to James Morrison in legal. The call connects within seconds. James, I need immediate filing of a Section 1983 civil rights violation report with the Atlanta Police Department. Yes, tonight. We have multiple witnesses and video documentation. James Morrison's voice carries through the speaker. Maya, the board is recommending immediate termination for Mr. Rivera and a company-wide discrimination review. Stock price protection protocol is already active. Agreed. Also initiate our crisis communications plan. This incident is being live-streamed to over 16,000 viewers. Sarah waves her phone. 17,000 now, and someone shared it to Twitter. It's going viral. Maya acknowledges Sarah with a nod, then continues her call. James, I want new corporate policies implemented within 30 days. Every property gets mandatory bias training, anonymous reporting systems, and quarterly discrimination audits. Kelly Davidson, who's been standing frozen with her clipboard, finally speaks. Miss Thompson, I was just following Mr. Rivera's lead. I didn't know. Maya turns her attention to Kelly. Miss Davidson, you actively participated in filing false documentation. You wrote that I was using intimidation tactics and creating a hostile environment. Those statements were fabricated. Kelly's voice cracks. I thought, Marcus said you thought what Marcus told you to think. You never observed my behavior independently. Maya's tone softens slightly. Miss Davidson, you're young and inexperienced. You'll receive a written reprimand and mandatory bias training. Consider this a learning opportunity. Relief floods Kelly's face. Thank you, Miss Thompson. I'll do better, I promise. Maya turns to Tom Phillips, the security guard. Mr. Phillips, you showed appropriate restraint throughout this incident. Your conduct was professional and measured. Tom nods gratefully. Thank you, ma'am. I knew something felt off about the whole situation. The restaurant's phone begins ringing constantly. Jessica, the hostess, looks around helplessly before Maya gestures for her to ignore it. That's likely media outlets and angry customers, Maya explains to Officer Martinez. This incident will require significant reputation management. She opens her phone's calculator app and begins entering figures. Let me quantify the potential damage, officer. Prime Reserve's annual revenue, $4.2 million. Pinnacle's total portfolio value, $2.8 billion. Federal discrimination lawsuit settlements typically range from $15 to $50 million for publicly documented cases. Officer Thompson looks up from taking notes. Ma'am, those are significant numbers. They are. But the real cost isn't financial, it's human. How many other customers has Mr. Rivera treated this way? How many potential employees were never hired due to his biases? How many people avoided our restaurants because they didn't feel welcome? Maya turns to address the dining room directly. I want everyone here to understand something. What happened tonight wasn't just wrong, it was stupid. Mr. Rivera cost this company millions of dollars because he couldn't see past his own prejudices. Margaret Willis from Table 6 raises her hand tentatively. Miss Thompson, I apologize for my earlier comments. I made assumptions I shouldn't have made. Mrs. Willis, your assumptions were based on the same biases that informed Mr. Rivera's actions. The difference is, you have the opportunity to learn from this experience. Maya opens her phone again and places another call. This is Maya Thompson calling the Atlanta Journal-Constitution newsroom. I need to speak with your business editor regarding a major discrimination incident at a Pinnacle hospitality property. The call connects immediately. This is Michael Torres, business editor. Mr. Torres, I'm the board chair of Pinnacle Hospitality Group. One of my managers just attempted to have me arrested for dining while black at my own restaurant. The incident has been live-streamed to over 18,000 viewers. Michael's voice sharpens with interest. Miss Thompson, can you hold for 30 seconds? I'm putting you on speaker with our legal correspondent. Maya covers her phone and addresses the room. Local media is now aware. This story will be front-page news tomorrow. Marcus Rivera's face turns ashen. The full scope of his catastrophic mistake is becoming clear. Maya returns to her call. Mr. Torres, I'm sending you documentation of tonight's events, including video evidence and witness statements. This represents a significant case study in corporate discrimination response. She ends the call and immediately dials another number. Linda Harrison, VP Operations. Linda, I need you to coordinate with our PR firm immediately. Full disclosure strategy, proactive media engagement, and complete transparency about our corrective measures. Linda's voice comes through clearly. Maya, I'm already on it. Barbara Carter from Morrison Strategic Communications is standing by. We're preparing a comprehensive statement for release within 2 hours. Maya's phone buzzes with a text from David Carter. Board meeting starts in 15 minutes. Morrison acquisition still on track? Maya shows the message to Patricia, who nods. Officer, how much longer will this take? We have a time-sensitive business matter to conclude. Officer Martinez closes his notepad. I think we have everything we need. Mr. Rivera, you'll need to come to the station to sign an amended statement. Ma'am, he addresses Maya, we apologize for any inconvenience. Maya shakes both officers' hands. Thank you for your professionalism. This incident reflects on Mr. Rivera's judgment, not yours. As the officers prepare to leave, Marcus makes one final plea. Miss Thompson, please. I have 2 children. My wife is pregnant. I can't lose this job. Maya studies him for a long moment. The restaurant holds its breath. Mr. Rivera, your children will grow up in a world where their worth isn't determined by their appearance. Tonight, you taught them and everyone here that actions have consequences. Her voice remains steady. You may collect your personal belongings from the office. Security will escort you from the premises. Tom Phillips steps forward. Ma'am, I'll handle that. Maya opens her calculator app again. Let me share some additional figures with everyone present. Mr. Rivera's actions tonight potentially cost Pinnacle Hospitality Group $3.2 million in immediate PR crisis management, $8.7 million in potential lawsuit settlements, and approximately $15 million in projected revenue loss from reputation damage. She looks directly at Marcus. Your annual salary was $68,000. Your discrimination just cost my company 338 times your yearly earnings. The mathematical precision of the devastation silences the room. Maya turns to the dining room one final time. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Reserve will remain open for business. Your meals tonight are complimentary, courtesy of Pinnacle Hospitality Group. We apologize for the disruption. Scattered applause breaks out, led by Sarah, who's still live streaming. The comments on her stream pour in. Justice! Get it, girl! This is how you handle discrimination. Maya opens her portfolio and reviews the acquisition documents. Patricia, David, shall we finish our business? We have a $2.3 million deal to close and a board meeting to attend. David Carter approaches with a slight smile. Maya, I've never seen anyone handle a crisis with such grace under pressure. The Morrison chains are lucky to be joining the Pinnacle family. Patricia opens her briefcase. All amendments are complete. We just need your signature and we can proceed to the board presentation. Maya accepts the pen and signs the documents with steady strokes. Another successful acquisition for Pinnacle. 3 new restaurant chains, 400 new jobs, expanded market presence. She hands the signed contracts to Patricia, then addresses the room once more. Discrimination isn't just morally wrong, it's bad business. Tonight proved that. Marcus Rivera walks toward the back office, his career in ruins, escorted by Tom Phillips. His discrimination cost him everything. Maya Thompson straightens her simple black dress and prepares for her board meeting, 8:15 p.m. Marcus Rivera clears out his office under Tom Phillips's watchful supervision. His hands shake as he packs 3 years of personal items into a cardboard box. Family photos, a coffee mug reading "World's Best Dad," a small plant his daughter gave him for Father's Day. Each item represents the life he's just destroyed with 20 minutes of prejudice. Take your time, Tom says quietly, but keep it moving. Marcus pauses at his computer, staring at the screensaver photo of his pregnant wife and 2 young children. My kids are going to see this online, aren't they? Tom doesn't answer. There's nothing to say. In the main dining room, Maya addresses her business partners while the remaining customers finish their complimentary meals. David, Patricia, let's move to the private dining room for our board presentation. We have 40 minutes before the West Coast board members log off. Sarah Carter continues live streaming from her table, now with over 22,000 viewers. Y'all, I'm still processing what just happened. This woman just turned the most humiliating situation into a masterclass in corporate leadership. Comments flood her stream. She handled that like a boss. This is what real power looks like. Justice served ice cold. I'm never eating anywhere that isn't Pinnacle owned. In the kitchen, Jerome Washington watches Marcus's departure through the service window. He turns to sous chef Maria Santos, who's been unusually quiet since the revelation. Man, I can't believe the owner was standing right there the whole time, Jerome says. Maria wipes down her station obsessively. I feel sick about what I said earlier, about staying out of the front-of-house business. You didn't know. That's not an excuse. I should have spoken up when I saw something wrong happening. Maria looks directly at Jerome. From now on, we will speak up. Always. Jerome nods. Always. Maya settles into the private dining room with David and Patricia. Her laptop displays the Pinnacle board meeting, 8 executives on video call from various time zones. Ladies and gentlemen, Maya begins, her composure completely restored. Tonight's incident has provided us with an unexpected opportunity to strengthen our corporate culture and competitive position. Board member Harrison speaks first. Maya, the legal team is already drafting new policies. What are your immediate recommendations? Maya opens her portfolio. 3-tier implementation. First, immediate. All properties receive updated anti-discrimination protocols within 72 hours. Second, short-term, mandatory bias training for all management staff within 30 days. Third, long-term, anonymous reporting app deployment and quarterly discrimination audits. Cost projections? Asks CFO Williams. Patricia consults her tablet. Immediate implementation, $2.1 million. Training program, $4.7 million annually. Technology development, $1.3 million initial, $800,000 yearly maintenance. Total first-year investment, $8.9 million, Maya summarizes. Compare that to tonight's potential lawsuit exposure of $50 million, and we're looking at exceptional ROI. David Carter leans forward. Maya, the Morrison acquisition gives us perfect timing. We can implement these policies across 847 existing properties plus 127 new ones simultaneously. Industry leadership and discrimination prevention. Board member Thompson nods approvingly. A competitive advantage through ethical leadership. I like it. Maya's phone buzzes with a text from Linda Harrison, VP Operations. Local news crews arriving. Channel 2, Fox 5, and CNN affiliate. Statement ready for your approval. Maya excuses herself briefly to review the statement on her phone. Pinnacle Hospitality Group announces immediate implementation of industry-leading anti-discrimination policies following tonight's incident at Prime Reserve Atlanta. Board Chair Maya Thompson's personal experience will drive company-wide reforms ensuring every customer receives dignified service regardless of race, gender, or appearance. Zero tolerance for discrimination is now corporate policy. She approves the statement and returns to the board meeting. Media statement approved and released within the hour, Maya reports. Our crisis communications firm projects a positive coverage ratio of 4:1 due to our proactive response. Meanwhile, Kelly Davidson sits in the break room, staring at her written reprimand. The document outlines her mandatory bias training schedule and probationary period. Her phone buzzes with text messages from friends who saw the live stream. Kelly, OMG, was that you on the news? Girl, you almost got fired by the actual owner? You better learn from this. Kelly types back. Worst night of my life, but I deserved it. Learning time. Tom Phillips returns from escorting Marcus out. He approaches Maya in the private dining room during a brief board meeting recess. Miss Thompson, Mr. Rivera is gone. He asked me to give you this. Tom hands Maya a handwritten note on restaurant letterhead. Miss Thompson, I have no excuse for my behavior tonight. My actions were wrong, hurtful, and inexcusable. I hope the changes you're making will prevent other people from experiencing what I put you through. I'm truly sorry. Marcus Rivera. Maya reads the note silently, then folds it and places it in her portfolio. Thank you, Tom. How are you feeling about tonight? Tom considers the question carefully. Ma'am, I've been doing security for 15 years. I've seen a lot of ugly situations, but I've never seen anyone handle ugly with such class. The real test isn't how we handle success, Tom. It's how we respond to adversity. Yes, ma'am. If it's okay to ask, will there be changes for security protocols too? Maya nods. You'll receive training on recognizing and interrupting discriminatory situations. Your job isn't just to protect property, it's to protect people's dignity. Tom straightens. I can handle that responsibility. Back in the main dining room, the evening crowd has largely dispersed, but several customers linger, unwilling to leave this historic moment. The elderly couple from table 12 approaches the hostess station where Jessica is fielding phone calls. Excuse me, the elderly gentleman says to Jessica. Could you please give Miss Thompson our apologies? We were wrong tonight. His wife nods earnestly. We made assumptions we shouldn't have made. We'd like to come back when we can meet her properly. Jessica, who's been answering calls from reporters all evening, manages a small smile. I'll make sure she gets the message. Maya returns to the board meeting for final votes. The Morrison acquisition is complete, she announces. Total portfolio now stands at 974 properties across 23 states. Annual revenue projection, $3.1 billion. Board member Harrison raises his hand. Maya, I move to make you permanent chairman and CEO. Tonight proved we have exceptional leadership. Seconded, calls out 3 board members simultaneously. The vote is unanimous. Maya's phone rings. The local news stations want live interviews. CNN is sending a crew from their Atlanta bureau. The story is going national. Patricia, can you handle media requests? I want to focus on policy implementation. Patricia opens her calendar. We can schedule interviews for tomorrow morning. Tonight should be about internal communications. David Carter closes his laptop. Maya, in 20 years of business partnerships, I've never seen anyone turn crisis into opportunity like you did tonight. Maya stands and smooths her simple black dress, the same outfit that Marcus Rivera deemed inappropriate for his restaurant. David, tonight wasn't about turning a crisis into an opportunity. It was about revealing what was always true. Discrimination is bad business, and dignity is good policy. She gathers her papers and prepares to leave her own restaurant, the restaurant where she was nearly arrested 2 hours ago. Outside, news vans line the street. Camera crews position themselves near the entrance. Tomorrow, this story will lead every local newscast and trend on social media platforms nationwide. Marcus Rivera drives home to face his pregnant wife and explain why he lost his job. Kelly Davidson begins researching bias training programs. Tom Phillips updates his security protocols, and Maya Thompson heads to her car, carrying signed contracts worth $2.3 million and a mandate to transform an entire industry. The quiet power of systemic change. 3 months later, Maya Thompson stands before the National Restaurant Association Conference in Chicago, addressing 2,400 industry leaders. Her keynote speech, Dignity as Strategy: How Anti-Discrimination Policies Drive Profit, has drawn the largest conference attendance in 5 years. That night at Prime Reserve Atlanta changed more than one man's career, Maya tells the packed auditorium. It transformed how an entire industry thinks about customer service, employee training, and corporate responsibility. The pinnacle Dignity First policy has been adopted by 17 competitor restaurant chains. The anonymous reporting app, Equality Watch, has processed over 3,200 customer feedback reports across the industry, leading to corrective action in 847 documented cases. Maya's story has become a Harvard Business School case study titled Leadership Under Fire: Transforming Discrimination into Systemic Change. She guest lectures quarterly, teaching MBA students that true power lies not in revenge, but in creating systems that prevent others from experiencing injustice. Marcus Rivera now works at a small family restaurant in suburban Atlanta, earning $32,000 annually, less than half his previous salary. His wife delivered their third child 2 weeks ago. He completes court-mandated bias training every Saturday morning, a condition of his plea agreement for filing a false police report. He's learned to check his assumptions, to see customers as individuals rather than stereotypes. The hard way. Hard. Kelly Davidson completed her bias training with distinction and was promoted to assistant manager at Prime Reserve's Sandy Springs location. She's enrolled in Georgia State University's Hospitality Management program, determined to become the kind of leader Maya Thompson exemplified that night. Tom Phillips was promoted to head of security for all Pinnacle properties in the Southeast region. He now trains security personnel on recognizing and interrupting discriminatory behavior. His catchphrase: protect people's dignity first, property second. Jerome Washington left the kitchen and enrolled in culinary school. Pinnacle's new employee advancement program, launched in Maya's name, covers his full tuition. He'll graduate next spring and plans to open his own restaurant, one where everyone feels welcome. Sarah Carter's live stream from that evening has been viewed 2.8 million times across platforms. She's parlayed her citizen journalism into a full-time career covering social justice issues for a major news outlet. She still keeps Maya's business card in her wallet. Prime Reserve Atlanta has become a pilgrimage site of sorts. Customers request Maya Thompson's table, though she never actually sat down that night. Revenue has increased 34% since the incident, driven partly by curiosity and partly by Pinnacle's reputation for inclusive excellence. The restaurant industry has adopted new terminology. The Thompson Standard refers to anti-discrimination policies that prioritize human dignity over profit margins. It's become a competitive advantage. Restaurants advertise their Thompson Standard certification to attract diverse customers. Maya's personal wealth has grown to $847 million, but her greatest achievement isn't financial. It's the 23,000 restaurant employees who've received bias training, the 156 discrimination complaints that were resolved through Equality Watch, and the countless customers who now dine without fear of judgment. She mentors young entrepreneurs through the Thompson Foundation, focusing on women and minorities in the hospitality industry. Her first protege, a 24-year-old black woman from Birmingham, just opened her second restaurant location. Maya still conducts surprise quality assessments at Pinnacle properties, though now she's recognized instantly. Managers compete to exceed Thompson Standard protocols, knowing their board chair might walk through the door at any moment. The next time you witness discrimination, in a restaurant, store, or workplace, remember Maya's story. Real change doesn't happen when we stay silent. It happens when we document, report, and demand better. If you've experienced discrimination, share your story in the comments below. Your voice matters. Your experience can teach others and prevent future incidents. Share this video if you believe every person deserves to be treated with dignity regardless of race, appearance, or perceived social status. Together, we can make the Thompson Standard universal. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of quiet strength overcoming systemic barriers. Hit the bell icon for notifications when we expose injustice and celebrate triumph. Join our community discussion about workplace discrimination and systemic change. Your engagement helps these stories reach people who need to hear them. Remember, the most powerful response to discrimination isn't anger, it's action that creates lasting change. Like this video if Maya's calm leadership inspired you. Comment with your own experiences of bias or moments when someone stood up for justice, because every voice matters in the fight for dignity.
The story you heard today wasn't cleaned up. It was told exactly as it happened. At Black Voices Uncut, we believe that's the only way truth can live. If you felt something, hit like, comment, and your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices that refuse to be silenced.